We go. We are live and direct. We are on the air. Hello, Steve.
Hello, Podfeed. How are you this fine Easter evening?
I should probably check my video. I didn't even check my lighting and everything. I just took a shower, so my hair looks greasy, but it's just wet.
Do you have your LED light on?
Nope. You didn't turn my lighting on.
Uh-oh.
What have you been doing? You didn't even, I fetched you a beer. This is all messed up. There, how's that?
TechMan 98 is Daniel Semro.
Oh, Daniel.
Yeah.
You have been in before, I think, Daniel. Let's see. I'm going to tell him you can listen.
Yes. TechMan has been in the show.
On the left, that says live show listen. Or you can listen on podfeed.com/live. Make sure he knew. All right. Let's see. Let me do a little test recording here. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeed.com. Go back, rewind, play back. Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeed.com. All right. Happened. I can't hear myself. There we go. That's weird. Okay. Could you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, playback was a little bit louder, but I don't know if it matters.
Yeah. Nice little cough I still got going on here, so this is good. All right. Hey, so because of the success of Discord, I canceled my DigitalOcean droplet, saving $5 a month on not using IRC anymore. So yay!
Excellent. It's paying off already.
That's $60 right there. All right. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Can you think of any important? Oh, we have an important announcement. Make sure you stick around to the end. There will be a special guest arriving partway through the show.
Yes.
Maybe right around 6, but maybe a little bit earlier.
And I think it's safe to say, as a little tease, that we haven't even met this guest yet.
Yes.
This will be a first time for both you and us.
Gino Troy says, now I can use the $5 to use for Airtable. Yeah, I actually thought about that when I was looking at the price, going, hey, I could pay for Airtable with the money I just, wait a minute. Hey, it's tax deductible. Why not? All right. I think it's time to get the show on the road. Can I ask you to mute Mr. Sheridan?
Muting now.
Hi, this is Allison Sheridan of the NosillaCast podcast, hosted at podfeed.com, a technology geek podcast with an ever so slight Apple bias. Today is Sunday, April 1st, 2018, and this is show number 673. There we go, 673. Well, I've mentioned a few times how happy I am that I started making individual blog posts for each subject of the upcoming NosillaCast. Amongst the many reasons that it's awesome, I like it specifically because it gives those who read rather than listen a chance to find huge mistakes in my posts and tell me about them before I say these dumb things on the podcast. It's much easier to write corrections on a blog post than it is to change audio after it gets delivered to your podcatcher. Well, that all works really well until you do a back and forth 2-person discussion like in Security Bits. Alert listeners Harvey Simon and Doug Ingram were the first to notice 2 big mistakes by me in talking to Bart about Cambridge Analytica on NosillaCast number 672. They were both very polite and explained and corrected me. I'd like to quote Doug's email because he gave a lot of detail in his response. Here's what he wrote. Bart had mentioned that Cambridge Analytica may have gotten access to the Facebook info of up to 50 million American users. At 5646, you said, now let me ask you a question here. 50 million sounds like a big number. There are billions of people in the United States, so this isn't actually a large percentage of the voters, right? Well, he goes on to explain the population of the U.S. is, according to the always correct Wikipedia, smiley face, estimated to be 327 million. Shoot. Hang on a second. I am in Do Not Disturb, and yet my brother's phone call is still coming through. Okay, now let me decline that. I thought I did Do Not Disturb on my watch, and that usually Do Not Disturbs me everywhere. So my phone, my iPad, and my Mac just started ringing there. Okay, I'm going to go fix a typo real quick.
While you're at it,
yeah.
you might want to bring the light down on your left side. It's a little bit bright.
Am I getting shiny?
Yeah.
Calling again. Would you mind sending him a text message and telling him I'm on the air right now?
To whom?
Grant.
Okay.
I say to what? This is the problem. It's really hard to find typos after. I can see them when I'm reading them, and then they disappear when I'm looking for them. Oh, there it is. Where was I? Well, he goes on to split. Let me make sure I didn't cut any audio. Yeah, that's perfect. Turn on your audio levels. Unbalanced with Allison. Oh, is he too hot? TJ is saying you're too loud.
Me?
I think so.
Who's too loud?
TJ is saying you're unbalanced with Allison. You sound fine to me, but
who should turn down? Oh, I should.
The chat. Yeah.
All right. I will back up. How's that?
Fine with me. Okay, here we go. He goes on to explain the population of the United States is, according to the always correct Wikipedia, put a smiley face after that, is estimated to be at 327,270,267 people. That's less than a third of a billion. So there aren't billions of people in the United States. According to this article, there were just over 200 million Americans registered to vote for the 2016 presidential election. This cites voter turnout as being over 128 million at 10th November 2016, based on ballots counted at that point. Now, we don't know how many of the affected Facebook users were registered voters, nor how many of them actually voted, and we can't know how many would have been influenced by the campaigns mounted by Cambridge Analytica. Still, with a potential 50 million out of 128 million voters in the clutches of Cambridge Analytica, that is a huge percentage of the voters. So, yeah, I got it just a wee bit wrong and missed the entire point of how useful this data was as a result. Well, Harvey also went on to point out a second mistake I made. It's not quite as egregious as the first. He pointed out that I said that Social Security numbers are a matter of public record. They categorically are not. In this case, I wasn't misinformed. I misspoke. I was on a roll about driver's license numbers, and I didn't think through what I was saying. In reality, though, with the data breach at Equifax and the Office of Personnel Management, our Social Security numbers are publicly available, but that's not quite the same thing as a matter of public record. I definitely want to thank both of these fine gentlemen for telling me so quickly about my dumb statements. Never hesitate to politely tell me when I'm wrong, okay? Because they told me so quickly, I was able to notify NosillaCast ways through Twitter, Facebook, Google+, LinkedIn, the Podfeet Press, and for the first time ever, I even used Patreon to notify folks there that I knew that I had made this big dumb error. By the way, if you don't know about the Podfeet Press, that's a mostly automated newsletter that announces when the NosillaCast and Chit Chat Across the Pond get published. But I can also make out-of-band notices too. I think it's an invaluable tool for me to be able to reach you if something goes horribly wrong. Many years ago, I had a terrible problem with my web hosting service, and podfeet.com was gone for a long time, and it was the only way I could ever let anybody know back then. Anyway, if you want to be on distribution for the Podfeet Press, the simple sign up is in the menu bar of every podfeet.com page and every post, and it's entitled Podfeet Press Sign Up. The best part about it is you can opt back out if it turns out not to add value to you. Anyway, about all these mistakes, I blame them on jet lag. In Chit Chat Across the Pond this week, we're finally back after spring break, and this week is a Programming by Stealth episode. We're going to be moving on from JavaScript while we learn about Bootstrap. Bootstrap is a set of open source libraries which provide pre-built foundations for creating responsive and good-looking websites. It's an easy episode with an easy and fun homework. I'm already done with my homework, and I think you're really going to enjoy it. So check it out in your podcatcher of choice. Now, next week on Chit Chat Across the Pond, we're going to have Joe Duganzik of Smarter Home Life on the show again. And part of this is going to be him answering your questions. If you've got a question about home automation that you'd like to hear Joe answer, send me an email quickly because we're recording on Tuesday, April 3rd. Send that to me at allison@podfeet.com, and we'll see how he does answering your questions about home automation. Yes, Kevin is doing family stuff, so good. Let's see. Having trouble hearing audio. Okay. So
we mentioned to TechMan just to go to podfeet.com/live.
Yeah, but you could also tell him about Live Show Listen. I told him, but he apparently didn't see the message.
Okay. I'm not sure. Is that navigable?
Yeah.
So everything's accessible.
Tell him to look for the voice channel called Live Show Listen in the left sidebar. All right. I'm going to edit the order of something. I'm going to do the two spammy things first, Steve. I'm going to move the DTNS announcement up after the Screencast Online thing. Shouldn't matter. I just don't want you to get freaked out when I'm
sorry. Which one are you doing first?
I'm going to do Screencast Online, and then I'm going to talk about DTNS. Then I'm going to go on to the other one.
Got it.
Okay, so okay, let's see. So nobody told me to do
because Kevin's not here. So maybe Wing Woman Sandy should be filling in.
Yeah. So what did I just say I was going to do? I was going to do the mono step one, right? Oh, I can do it like this, can I? This. I do that. Mono snap.
Okay, John's filling in.
Okay, good. Because usually Brett is his assistant, but
Brett's not here tonight.
Brett's not here, man. There we go. Who's texting me? Steven. Well, Steven gets to look at the clock in Telegram if you are you friends with him in Telegram, Steve?
No.
Okay, hang on. Sending me adorable pictures of his son. Uh-oh. That's not what I meant to do.
I thought you turned off notifications.
Yeah, Telegram doesn't obey notifications, Steve. You know that.
Yeah, that's true.
There we go. All right.
TJ's picking up the bar.
Okay, good. All right, perfect. Back in January, I told you guys about a really slick tool called MonoSnap. I explained that it's so much more than a screen capture tool. Anyway, I'm so enchanted with MonoSnap to this day that I decided to do a video tutorial for Don McAllister's Screencast Online. I had an absolute blast making this video because the more I dug into MonoSnap, the more I realized it could do. I've inserted over on podfeet.com a teaser video for you where you can see kind of the opening of what it's going to be like. And if you like what you see, you can go see it over at a link at Screencast Online that's also in that blog post. Anyway, when you go over there, you can sign up for a free 10-day trial to Screencast Online and watch the entire video. But you probably don't want to do that because Screencast Online is addictive. Okay, now another spam. What's the next one is the DTNS one. I'll make a chapter just because I can.
Lewis is here. PowerBook 540. 540C.
Lewis, I think this is the first time I've seen you in Discord. I love how everybody's getting into Discord without like any trouble at all. Here we go.
I might be mispronouncing it. Could be Luis.
Actually, I think it might be Luis.
Well, my apologies if I do.
Let's see. Okay. Come on. On Tuesday, I had the pleasure of being on the Daily Tech News Show again with Tom Merritt and Sarah Lane and Roger Chang. The main discussion topic was the announcement from Apple as we tried to answer the question of whether Apple can break back into the top spot for schools. I've embedded that in a blog post, and if you're listening to this and we have our fancy chapter markers, you'll notice that you've got a link directly to that blog post, so you can watch it right there if you want to. Anyway, it was an interesting topic because it wasn't all fangirl. It was really asking some serious questions about whether Apple can break into the top spot for schools now that they've kind of lost market share there, and what Google's doing, and does Microsoft have a shot? Anyway, I always love the Daily Tech News Show, so it's fun to be on it. And I thought you guys would want to know that I was on it last week. Oh, and it's back to back. The next episode, so I was on DTNS 3248. DTNS 3249 was Chris Ashley of the SMR podcast. So, do a back to back and go watch them both.
Chapter mark.
Thank you.
Since you mentioned it.
Huh?
Since you mentioned it. Nuclear John's in there too. He's got it nailed.
All right. I can take a toast to that. All right. Okay, now it's going to be a long one. Here we go. I'm going to have to take a break during this one. I know my voice won't last as long as this is. This is I believe it's a 2,300 word blog post. That's in the old days when I used to do one long blog post, it was 5,000 total. So this is a half a week's worth of show all in one giant blog post.
Well, if you have to take a break, we fully understand.
Okay, let's see. But I should put a chapter marker in, don't you think? Because Nuclear John said to.
Yes.
This one is funny. The title of this blog post is "Which is Worse, iBooks Author or Pages Book Creation?" And somebody responded to my tweet saying, "Well, by the way you're saying you're titled that, it sounds like you don't like either one." I'm like, go read the post.
It's kind of why you worded it that way, huh?
Yeah. I mean, it's clickbaity, but it's so true. Okay. Here we go. Every year when we go on vacation, especially if it's to an exotic place, I like to write a travelogue of our adventures. I write a page each day while I'm on the trip, and I include photos from the day. I do this the old-fashioned way in an email to my friends and family. Oddly, rather than people being annoyed by this, people actually ask to be on distribution. At the risk of sounding particularly full of myself, people have told me that my writing style is engaging and even sparkling. Wally Chewinski said that just last week. Anyway, all I can say is I make myself laugh as I write these letters, so at least one person is entertained by them. I have to tell you, it is definitely not your typical, my summer vacation report. Anybody who wants me on distribution, by the way, send me an email at allison@podfeed.com, and you can read these too if you like. A few years ago, after our huge Dubai, India, and Nepal trip, Wally Chewinski suggested I try to make my travelogue into an iBook. He felt it would be a great way for me to have them all together as a keepsake of the trip. Well, back then I tried it, but it was too hard. This year, after writing my travelogue from our Paris trip, I decided to try to climb this mountain yet again. This time, I conquered the beast. But it's not because Apple has made significant advances in the tool. It's that I was well rested and determined to get this done. I would like to note that I finished the book on Monday using iBooks, the day before Apple announced that they had added book creation to its Pages application. I decided it might make an entertaining post to tell you about my experience, first with iBooks and then with the iBooks Author, I should say, and then with the advanced book creation option in Pages. Here's my story of the disaster that is book creation using Apple's tools. As I said up front, the original source material was a set of 13 independent emails with photos added in line. When I insert the photos into the emails, I choose medium as the attachment format, which means they're already a pretty reasonable size to work with. I do this as a courtesy to my readers, try to keep each letter around a couple of megabytes. On some trips, I've had to go to the smallest size because of my own bandwidth restrictions, like when we were on little boats in the Galapagos in Ecuador and the Brahmaputra River in India. That internet was small, let me tell you. Anyway, as the trip progressed this year, each time I wrote a letter, I did a select all, copied, and then I pasted the new letter's contents into one giant Pages document. The images all stayed nicely in line in Pages. I didn't do any formatting there because I knew I'd be moving the information to a new format. Since I started in Apple Mail and then I pasted into Apple Pages, I naively assumed that I'd be able to select all in Pages and paste into Apple's iBooks Author application, and at least all of the content would be there. I was, of course, incorrect in my assumption. When I pasted the content from Pages to iBooks Author, none of the images came with it. There are 188 photos and one video in that document. None of it came over. Now, I do understand that the normal way of writing a book isn't to start in an email, copy to Pages, and then copy to iBooks Author, but I would bet it's not uncommon for someone to write and think in one application and make it into a book in another application. So let's walk through the somewhat successful process to create a book using iBooks Author. We start by selecting New from the File menu and choosing a template. You get no clues as to the structure of these templates until you try them. You simply see 10 options under Landscape and 7 under Portrait, with a blank option under each format. I decided to go with blank Landscape. The blank format came with 2 columns on each page, which looks swell for my needs. Note, once you choose a template in iBooks Author, you are forever in that template. iBooks Author does not allow you to switch templates like you can with applications like Keynote. You can modify the template of your document, but you can never use the template chooser again unless you want to copy and paste every page by hand into the new template. Okay, don't forget that because that becomes very important later. So you're given a blank chapter and one blank indented section. I wasn't sure what chapters or sections would mean to me, so I figured I'd just pick one and hope that I could change it later if I needed to. At this point, you need to insert minor chord music to show impending doom. So, because iBooks Author wouldn't let me copy and paste the whole darn thing at once, I had to copy a section of text from Pages, flip over to iBooks Author, paste in the text, flip back over to Pages, click on an image, copy, then flip back to iBooks Author and hit paste. 188 times. Okay? 188 times. But it turns out one line feed between 2 paragraphs in Pages turns into 2 line feeds in iBooks Author. So for every single new paragraph in my entire Pages document, I had to go in and delete a line feed by hand. I didn't count the line feed for you, though, so that would have been even more entertaining if I could have said how many those were. All right, so after I'd done the copy-paste dance about 20 times, I noticed that they had some nice formatting options for images. You know how I love me a nice drop shadow on an image, right? Well, I formatted one image with a drop shadow, and it looked swell. I started hunting around for a way to create a preset for how all images should look. And under Format Advanced, I found Define as Media Placeholder. Well, that sounded good. Didn't change all my images to that format. More hunting around, and under Format, I found Copy Graphic Style and Paste Graphic Style. Luckily, the paste option had a keystroke, it's Command Option V, so as I pasted in each one of these 188 images, I could easily hit that keystroke and add my drop shadow. At least I didn't have to use a pull down like an animal to do that paste style option, right? After a few more hours of copying and pasting, I realized that my portrait-oriented images would look better if they were, more centered with the text instead of being slammed against the sidewall of the page. The landscape images looked great because they filled the width of the column. In the inspector, I found under Object Placement an option to let the image be moved around, but still be anchored to the text so it wouldn't fling onto the wrong, move around too much. That was kind of the best of both worlds for me. Okay, so I set the inspector to that option on one image. I did the copy graphic style and then paste graphic style on the next one. And the object placement didn't copy and paste. So all it's going to copy and paste is my little drop shadow. Every time I want an image to be movable and not statically positioned, I had to go over to the inspector and change the little radio button to say anchored, stay with anchor. Okay, it's all right. It's 188 times, that's all. All right, I'm sure there's a way to fix this next problem, but I was never able to figure out how to change the way the titles of my chapters were formatted. My titles were pretty long, so the standard title format in the Styles pane was way too big. I changed the style to section. I know I'm a thrill seeker being crazy things like that. And they became more manageable in size. I could change the font manual if I wanted to, but that wasn't what the problem was that I needed to fix. I noticed that some of my titles still spilled onto the second line because they were so long. Now, that would be okay, but they didn't do the break at a word. They hyphenated the word at the end of the line, so it looked really dumb. One of my titles had the word Russian in it, and it was RUS-SIAN. Did I spell that correctly? Anyway, it looked really stupid. I didn't want hyphenated words in my titles. So I looked everywhere for a way to insert a manual line feed in my titles. Now, I'm a master of finding the secret code to add a line feed on the Mac in the weirdest places. Like, did you know Option Command Enter in Excel lets you add a line feed in text in a cell? Here's another example. You know how on Facebook in a browser, if you hit enter in a comment, hoping for a line feed, it actually posts your comment right away? If you use Option Enter, it'll put in a line feed and let you keep typing. But in iBooks Author, I tried every single keystroke I could think of, and for the life of me, I never found a way to add a line feed to the title. I had to put spaces in my title to get the word to jump to the next line. Felt dirty and cheap after I did that. Nothing to save. I missed anything? Oh, only 50 new messages. I think it stops counting at 50.
Sandy said she enjoyed your travel posts.
Oh, that's so nice. Yeah, she gave me lots of fun feedback. Was it sparkling?
Sparkling?
Yeah, that's what Wally said.
That your posts are sparkling?
No, that my letters were sparkling.
Sparkling. Okay. That's an interesting adjective.
So you apparently didn't read the blog post and are not listening, because I just said that in the
No, I'm not. I'm doing other things. That's okay. Someone needs to.
It was definitely sparkling, Sandy said. Oh, so did Rose. Good. Yay. All right. I'm going to keep going. Here we go. Probably time to save.
Oh, yes. But no chapter mark.
Nope. Okay. So remember way back when I started, I was creating chapters and I was ignoring this whole section thing? Well, after about 4 hours of working in iBooks Author, I looked at the automatically created table of contents and it looked kind of dumb. I thought maybe I could use sections instead. Well, don't think you can change chapters into sections, sonny boy. That's not an option. Okay, how about I create a chapter with some sections inside it, and then I just drag and drop the pages from the old chapters into it? Nope. You can't drag and drop between chapters. You can't even copy and paste pages from one chapter to another. I tried every which way to move them around, and you can't even drag pages up and down within a chapter or section. Unbelievably restrictive. So I got to say one nice thing about iBooks Author. When I'm on vacation, it's really hard to carve out the time to write these letters. I not only have to be clever and articulate, I have to first cull all of my photos down from the day's experience. So, maybe 150 photos, I'm going to put maybe 7 or 8 in the letter. That's a lot of work. Then I have to decide, like I said, I decide how many make the cut. By this time, my traveling companions are usually chomping at the bit to go on the next adventure. Luckily, on this trip, our friends Dean and Suzanne, who were traveling with us, have been the recipients of the travelogue in the past and made sure I was never rushed. They were actually quite helpful. In fact, Suzanne was the one who would answer my questions going, where did we have lunch? Well, how do you spell triomphe in Arc de Triomphe? She was my handy assistant and all that. Anyway, doing all that work didn't keep me from inserting some images that maybe weren't perfectly exposed. As I looked at them in iBooks Author, quite a few needed to have their exposure increased. Well, iBooks Author actually has an Adjust Images pane with a few sliders that did the trick to make my images pop. So there, said something nice about iBooks Author. Now let's get back to whining about it. I spent probably 6 hours total to beat my iBook into submission, but in the end, I was pretty happy with it. It could certainly be prettier and more elegant, but I did not have the energy to spend any more time on it. Okay, let's change direction now. The day after I finished my masterpiece, Apple announced that they were adding book creation capability to Pages. It was widely reported that iBooks Author was dead, but rumors of its demise were actually premature. They're not replacing iBooks Author, at least not yet. They've just added some capability to Pages. I figured that since this capability was brand new, maybe it would be way better than iBooks Author. I decided that since I had such recent experience with the hardware in iBooks Author, I'd try this new and improved tool. Spoiler, as low as the bar was set with iBooks Author, Pages is actually significantly worse. Hey, let's walk through everything that made me cranky, shall we? All right, remember that I already have a Pages document with all of the content in order in the way I want it. I assumed I couldn't convert my existing document to a book, and I was right, even though I was staying in Pages. So I figured we'd just give the old select all, copy paste dance a try. Ah.
T-7 for special guest.
Oh, yay.
Maybe that can be a break at the end of this post.
Well, we'll see if I make it. Okay. Uh-oh.
Oh, you might want
another picture.
Telegram.
So excited. Could you tell who that was? That was Kelly Kapoor when she finds out that Ryan isn't moving away in the office. So excited.
It sounded a lot like Pee Wee Herman, if you ask me, including the hand motions.
Yeah, maybe.
Do you need more water?
I might. Any clues? The only clue is we haven't met this guest yet.
Yes, so you will all meet the guest with us.
Dance a try. Okay. Right there. Save. Just like with iBooks Author, when you select New from the Pages menu, under Templates, you can now see portrait books and landscape books. I wanted a landscape book, so I chose the blank landscape template. I went to my source Pages document, selected all, copied, and then went to my landscape book and hit paste. The failure level of this technique was epic, so much better than the way iBooks Authors failed. It splatted all 188 images on top of each other and all 8,795 words all on one page. I put a picture of it in the show notes. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's just, how could it be stupider than that? All right, I read a little more about the new stuff in Pages, and I found that landscape layout in Pages doesn't allow words to flow from one page to the next. What? Well, this might explain why when I pasted my Pages text and images, they all splatted on top of each other. I created a new book using a portrait mode template. I was finally able to copy and paste from pages to pages, and it didn't make a dog's lunch of it. By the way, I wrote that in the blog post, and Bart says I'm supposed to call it a dog's dinner, but I didn't know that at the time. Anyway, I started to get optimistic that this would be a lot easier than in iBooks Author. Please insert minor chord music here again. I did a test export from Pages and opened the document in iBooks, and it looked great, except for chopping off the right half of many of my photos. I'm sure I have had this cold for a month. I am tired of it. Split. I'm sure Suzanne won't mind at all that the picture of her and Dean on the plane on the way to Paris only has Dean in it, right? When I did the export from Pages, it did warn me that some of my styles weren't supported, so the book wouldn't look quite the same as I expected. I take it back. Pages did make a dog's lunch out of it. All right, time for a third new book in Pages. I started from scratch, grabbing a few paragraphs to copy and paste into this new book. Then I copied an image and I went back to the book and I hit paste. Nothing happened. You cannot copy and paste an image into Pages Book Creator. Seriously. Okay. I kept fiddling around with it and I found the dumbest workaround. In the menu bar on Pages, there's a button to insert shapes. I figured out that if I inserted a shape first, such as a square, and with it still selected, I then hit Command V, the image would paste into Pages. But wait, it gets better. When I move the image around, the shape is underneath it still, so I have to go back and delete it. Isn't that awesome? Perfect workaround. All right, while I was retesting this so I could tell this story properly, I found that I could paste images into a book in Pages. I started thinking I'd lost my mind, but guess what? You can paste images into a Pages book if the template you chose is a portrait template, but not if it's a landscape template. Can I say unbelievable yet again? That makes no sense. But still, I didn't give up. I really needed to add a lot of column breaks to control the flow of my book. In iBooks Author, there's a keystroke to do this, but not in Pages. I am not going to go up to a menu and use a pull down hundreds of times. Now, if everything else had worked in Pages, I would have created a keystroke, using Keyboard Maestro or that system preferences keyboard thingy. But this was already such an abomination, I didn't even try. In iBooks Author, remember I was able to create a style I liked for images with my beloved drop shadow, and then I was able to paste that onto all subsequent images? In Pages, I can create a style too, but I have to use a pull down for that to allow the image to float after the fact. You know how I feel about pull downs and using that mouse. I ain't going to do it. Well, let's see. I tried to see if section breaks would make my pages flow any better, but adding a section break often inserted a blank page. I assumed I just put the marker in the wrong place, so I'd try to delete the inserted page from the thumbnail sidebar. I'd get a warning saying, do you really want to delete all those pages? Plural? I'd only clicked one. But if I said yes, a whole slew of pages randomly would be deleted. And oddly, a bunch of images would get all splatted together on the same subsequent pages. Undo, undo, undo. Okay, I turned on invisible so I could see what was happening with these section breaks. I figured out that that you simply cannot place a section break after a floated image. The section breaks must be tied to text. So I put in a bunch of line feeds in, again, like an animal, and I tried to have my image float around them, but they just flipped all over to the next page. So section breaks were not my friend. Then I thought maybe I need to change how my images float. I must have figured out 2 different ways to paste in images somewhere along the line, because in my experiments, I found images for which the float options were available and others for which they were simply grayed out. I never did find a pattern on this, and for once, it wasn't a portrait landscape difference. At this point, I threw in the towel on trying to use Pages to create a book. Okay. I'm almost done. What's their ETA? Oh, Steve's gone. That's a good sign. We might have special guest any second now. At this point, I've written a tome on the topic, and I've just gone on so long. Wait, I don't want to say that. I want to take that out and go there. Okay, at this point, I've probably gone on long enough, but I really needed to get that off my chest. So thank you to anyone who's made it this far through the story with me. I decided to make my iBook available to anyone who wants to see it. So I put a link in the show notes to it. I have to caution you to click this link in Safari on an iOS or Mac device only. When you click the link, it will ask you if you want to import the book into iBooks, and you'll be good to go. Hopefully, a significant number of you are cursing me right now, wondering why on earth I didn't make this a standard EPUB or Mobi book. Tell you why. After I did all this work, I discovered that the template you choose in iBooks Author changes whether you can create a standard book format available to everyone or one that can only be used inside Apple's walled garden. I cannot export my book to the standard EPUB format because I didn't start with one of the EPUB templates. Seriously, no Kindles, no Android devices, no Windows friends can enjoy the story of my summer vacation. Is Steve still here? He's a static image in the video. Oh, chapter mark. I can do that while I wait. I think the guest is here. Usually Tessa barks when people show up, though. Okay. Quick Patreon ad here. I'm excited. Is Steve still here? He was going out for a drink, John says. That's nice. I am absolutely thrilled that Darren Lai decided to slap down some of his hard-earned money to support the NosillaCast this week. He evidently finds value out of the show and decided he'd give a little value back. For as little as $1 an episode, you too can become a patron of the arts. This money goes towards offsetting the cost of hosting fees, as well as gear and software to record the shows. Seeing Darren's pledge made me doubly happy because he's also a patron of Bart's Let's Talk series of podcasts. I don't actually know which one makes me happier, that he's helping the NosillaCast or that he's helping Bart. I think I'll go with both. If you too want to give a little value back to the show, head on over to podfeet.com/Patreon and sign up to give your support to the NosillaCast. All righty. Chapter marker. Guest is cleverbot.com. All right. We're going to put this in. It's killing me. Why are they not coming in? I'm sure they're here. All right, let me go find the security bits music. Steve?
Are you in a break?
I am on a break.
Okay.
So excited. Since Daniel can't see, I will be giving a play-by-play as you meet our new guest. All right. Let's see where I'm going to turn this like this. Oh my goodness. Come in. Oh, look at the puppy.
Oh, she's such a cutie. By the way, Al, it's Sandy.
Oh, this is a new puppy. My son and his fiance just got. Oh, look at the little quiet face.
She is really calm. I think she's had a lot to eat recently.
Daniel, this what kind of dog is she?
A golden lab.
Yellow
lab retriever.
Yellow lab retriever mix something wonderful.
Yes.
You look sleepy, puppy.
Named after Sandy.
Oh, named after Sandy's in the chat room. Yeah. Can I hold her or you want to keep her?
Yeah, she's a little dirty.
Dirty. Oh, that's okay. That's why she's going to have a little bath. Oh, baby. Oh, Steve,
we need camera.
We need a screenshot of this. Steve, Kyle,
right.
Get down to the picture here.
Hold on.
Oh, and Nikki, come in too. Look at the camera over there. This.
All right.
Wait. Let's move that. So Nikki's in too.
All right, you ready? Hi. Okay, got it.
Oh,
she looks so tired.
Oh, everybody gets. That's Nikki, by the way. They've met Kyle before. Oh, okay. Probably go outside. That would be a good idea. Oh, such a cool puppy. Okay, I'm almost done. Oh,
I might
how is
go
that for exciting?
Help them a little if you're okay.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Where are you in the show?
I'm just about to throw in security bits, so I'm wrapping up. I'll be probably down 5-10 minutes.
Very good.
Yay! Yes, we're very excited. You guys are the first to see her. Don't say anything on Facebook. She's not Facebook adopted yet.
Yeah, and nothing's official till it's on Facebook.
Exactly. Steve has a bad habit of when they bought their house, Steve put it on Facebook before them.
All right, I'm leaving now.
Okay. All right, let me put security bits audio in here. All right. So I've got my chapter marker in. I haven't lost that. And all right. Oh, okay. Bye, Rick. I'm glad you got to meet Sandy. That is, Sandy's such a great name. Sandy. Our grand dog has an Instagram page. Oh, nice, John. My big advice to them was to get a dumb dog. Lindsay's dog is way too smart. Dodger is like, he knows how to open doors. He turned on the stove a bunch of times. They thought they were losing their minds. They'd come in the house and the stove would be on. And, Tessa's over there licking soap. I'm telling you, dumb dog, much better. All right, let me check this connection here. Port to the NosillaCast. Well, it's that time of the week again. It's time for Security Bits with Bart Busschots, and luckily things have calmed down from last week, right?
Oh, yeah. No news whatsoever. I do not have pages and pages of show notes with the tiny scroll bar. Definitely not so.
Okay. That works. So, time for me to record here.
Watched and stay secure.
Here we go. Well, that's going to wind us up for this week. Don't forget to send in your dumb questions, comments, and suggestions, and your questions for Joe Duganzik by emailing me at allison@podfeed.com. And you can follow me on Twitter @podfeed. Remember, everything good starts with podfeed.com. You want to become a patron of the arts? podfeed.com/Patreon. You want to join our Facebook group? We're over there talking about Airtable. We're doing some relational database fun. It's been a blast this week. Anyway, you can do that. podfeed.com/Facebook. And don't forget our Google Plus community. Still, things are maybe a little quieter over there, but there's always a good discussion. That's at podfeed.com/Google Plus. And if you want to join in our chat room over on Discord, you can get there through podfeed.com/chat. And if you want to help contribute to the show by buying things through the Amazon affiliate links, go to podfeed.com/Amazon. And if you want to join in the fun of the live show, like Caleb Fong did after having been gone for a very long time, you can head on over to podfeed.com/live on Sunday nights at 5 p.m. Pacific time and join the friendly and enthusiastic NosillaCast castaways. Thanks for listening and stay subscribed. Yeah, you had a good question, Sandy. I definitely like that. That was a good one. Forget what it was, but it was brilliant. Okay, let's see. I got to find some outro music. And we'll go right here. Oh yeah, it was about which app to use when you get the device has an app, and then there's HomeKit has an app, and I've definitely wondered about that. We have the August Smart Lock. I love it. And it was an excessive number of notifications when we had it talking to us and HomeKit at the same time. Let me tell you. There it is. Come on. Slide for me. Maybe I won't do that. Maybe I'll just leave it down then if you're just going to be annoying like that. And stay subscribed. Whoops. Excuse me. All right. I think we're a wrap. Where did I put this at? 15. The other one at 18. Go down a little bit. Hi, this is Allison. A little bit lower. Share it into the NosillaCast. An August Smart Lock. John, are you mocking me? I think he's mocking me. I should do it once a week. Oh, I have a fun picture I was going to show you guys. Bring up photos before we go. We are probably going to let class out early this week because I might want to go play with the puppy. Where is it? Here we go. Where'd it go? Oh, come on. Stupid. My photos never. Oh, I know what's wrong. I didn't take the picture. That's why. I got it from Steve. Right here. There it is. Copy image. Paste it here. This happened yesterday. I meant to put that in earlier and make you guys think that that it would be Barry was going to be the special guest, but that's for anybody who doesn't know, that's the world famous Barry Falk. Hey, TJ, yeah, hello, I'm back. That's great. TJ, do I have your email contact information? Because I want to ask you about something. If I don't, can you shoot me an email at allison@podfeed.com? I want to ask you something. So I am going to, let's see, finalizing file. It's almost all right. Yep, nicest man in the world. Spam me now. Oh, look at the puppy, John. Wait, don't put your email address in it. TJ, don't do that. All right. Wanted you send me an email. It's important, okay? Because I will forget. I can't play with that right now, but you shouldn't tell everybody your email. I mean, I do, but okay, I believe we have got the show done here. So I think I am going to let class out early so I can go play with that puppy. Hope I remember to finish the show. Okay, guys, I am going to sign off of the live broadcast now. Goodbye.